Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be attempting to make sourdough bread for the first time by myself. It's kind of like an all-day process, so I figured I would get started bright and early. It's 8 a.m. and we probably won't have the loaves made until like 6 p.m. So let's get started. First of all, I fed my sourdough starter yesterday and she overrose. She overflowed. So that shouldn't be a problem. It'll be okay, but I just have a little mess to clean up first. When it comes to sourdough, everything is measured in grams. So I'm gonna start by taking my starter and adding 250 grams of this to the bowl. Now we need to add our room temperature water. Now is kind of the fun part because you just take your hands in the bowl and you kind of mix it to get it like a milk consistency. And now we add in our flour. Now that she's pretty well mixed up, we're just gonna cover it with this little cap, and she's gonna go in the oven to sit with the light on, not the oven on, just the light on, for about an hour and a half. It's been an hour and a half, so now it's time to add my salt to the sourdough. Now I'm just gonna wet my hands a little bit, and we are going to pinch all the salt in. So now that we're done adding in the salt, it's time to cover it back up and let it rest for 2 more hours. So our sourdough is just about ready, and now is kind of getting into the fun part because now we get to divide the dough into 2. Oh, there's my timer. We get to divide the dough into 2 and then start to like shape them into the balls that they're going to be. So we're stretching out our dough, and then we need to roll it, fold it and roll it in. Then you take one of the long ends and you roll it. Yep. And you roll it into a nice little ball. So now that we have our 2 balls of dough all shaped and everything, we're just gonna let them sit here for 20 minutes and then we basically do the same thing again. Our 20 minutes is up, so it's time to basically do the exact same thing again with our balls of dough. Also, you guys, Phil and I have exciting news. We have our wedding venue picked out and our wedding date, obviously. But what's really exciting is that we are getting married in like a dream location for the both of us. It's actually at this chapel in South Carolina called Pretty Place Chapel, and it's in the mountains, and the chapel is like an outdoor chapel and it overlooks the mountains. And we could not be more excited that we get to call that our wedding venue. We're not gonna say what the wedding date is just because we don't want anyone trying to crash our wedding, but we are kind of just having it gonna be like immediate family and grandparents, so it's gonna be really intimate, small, and very special. So that's kind of a wedding update that's very exciting. Now that we have that kind of planned out, now everything else is slowly starting to fall into place. Like, we have our photographer and we have our videographer, and Phil just got his suit actually for the wedding. So everything is kind of slowly starting to come into place, which we both are very thankful for. Okay, so we are professionals obviously, and we're using plastic bags to cover up our bread. And now we wait for 2 more hours. All right, you guys, now comes the really fun part in my opinion. So the bread is done. I gotta get it out of the fridge, and now we get to like add the design to the sourdough. And I already have the oven and the Dutch oven preheated, so we can score the bread and then just put it right in the oven, and then it's ready to bake. I forgot to mention, but we're gonna flour the top because otherwise the design sometimes can't be shown very well. The flour is what helps to make sure that the design can be seen. here's my first design, and now it is time to pop this guy in the oven. And now we wait patiently for 25 minutes for the magic to happen. All right, you guys, I just realized that I used wax paper, and wax paper and parchment paper are completely different things. So I had to take it out, and I think this loaf is gonna have to be thrown out because it already started to bake, and the wax can essentially like bake in with the bread, so. And it's like really flat, so I don't know what's wrong. But I have another loaf, so I'll try the other loaf once I get the right paper and see if it works. After talking to some baking experts, we successfully transferred the loaf onto parchment paper, except now it looks horrible. But basically once we bake it, we're just gonna cut off the bottom part because that's the part that was in contact with the wax. But let's bake it and see if it still turns out. It's the moment of truth. I have to take the lid off now and let it bake for 5 more minutes. I think we have a redemption story, you guys. We took the lid off and it looks really good. Our fear was that it was too flat, but it actually rose more than I expected. So we're gonna wait about 5 more minutes and then we're gonna take her out of the oven. It is time to take out my first loaf. Let's see. Oh, she is beautiful. I am shook. For the fail that we had, this turned out. No way, that's awesome. This is such a beautiful sight, you guys. I'm so excited. Now I'm just about to put the second loaf in. After talking with my mom, I found out that all I need to do to save this first loaf is just cut off a little bit from the bottom because that's where the wax paper was in contact with, and then she will be good to go. So we are gonna cut it off right now so we can cut it open and taste it. We have the bottom part off. Throw that off. And now we can cut it open. She's beautiful. I didn't get my first reaction to trying this, but it tastes amazing. I am so happy with how it turned out. And I am definitely happy that I saved this loaf and decided to bake it. And I just pulled the second loaf out of the oven. So this was definitely a success, especially because it was my first time, and I definitely have learned some things after making it for the first time. All right, you guys, I think that is everything that I have for today's video. Thanks for sticking along on my journey of making sourdough for the first time. I had a great time, even though I had a little bit of a scare and fail, but it ended up turning out. So if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the future content I have in store. I post every single Wednesdays. I will see you guys back next week for a new video. Bye!